Wow. So the Bernie staffers have peace protesters arrested. We know this, right? But when they went outside, Marjorie Taylor Greene saw them out there. Now, I know this guy here. This is Dr. Dave. I've been in Nicaragua with this guy. I've been in other countries with him.
That's Dr. Dave?
That's Dr. Dave.
He looks like Barry Katz,
right?
the manager. Okay.
Okay, so what's going on is, this is important because we talk about it all the time. And, you know, when I was given the keys to the Jimmy Dore Kingdom over here to get a chance to run the show, there was a lot of things I wanted to talk to. But at the same time, Zelensky was coming to Washington. And I thought this was our chance right now to really push back to try and stop this goddamn war, to get as much public pressure as we can. And I said, I don't give a damn if it's the PSL people, if it's Code Pink people, if it's the Answer Coalition people. And these are all groups that really weren't crazy back at the Rage Against the War Machine because we were working with libertarians. And I even said, I'll put all that BS aside. Every single group out there, I don't care. I will work with you right now, here today, and try and stop this war, right? Somebody else had the same plan. Marjorie Taylor Greene. So she saw Code Pink out there, and this is her tweet, right? And just think about it right now. This is a hardcore, conservative, populist right figure. She knows these people probably are Marxist, and she's anti-socialist, anti-Marxist. She didn't care.
Why?
She says, I'm going to go out there.
Wait,
right?
the war's more important than that bullshit? Is that why?
Ending the war is more important than that, right? So really, ladies, I mean, come on. So she goes out and she takes a picture with them. Here she is, with right next to Dr. Dave, my boy. Two Code Pink activists. There she is again. Ukraine is not the 51st state. The war in Ukraine must end. Big letters, explanation point. Today I met with brave Code Pink activists who protested for peace in Bernie Sanders' office. He had 11 of them arrested. Peace and free speech shouldn't be a partisan issue. We don't agree on most things, but we do agree Congress should stop fueling the war in Ukraine. Why do I have to start praising people like Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene nowadays for doing the right thing? Where the hell where's the left? Big ups to Code Pink for going there.
I'll tell you why. Pause. One, this is America, so everything's about your brand. Yeah. So you're not supposed to think about like the greater good of a thing you're an activist for.
I know.
You're supposed to think about your brand and the optics, because that's the devil kingdom we live in. Also, I hate to say it, but probably did more good to end the war in Ukraine than even this.
Yeah.
That Nazi speaking in Canada.
Yeah.
My friends that don't know anything about anything know about that.
Yeah.
So that's like, Ukraine's a thing that if you talk to people about it, like I always watch these Bill Maher things, he doesn't think about it.
Yeah.
It's a World War III potentially.
Nuclear war.
All don't think about, they think about it less than they did even the end of Iraq and Afghanistan, where we had our own people in.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's perverse. This is how perverse America is, to go, oh, what? They were hanging out with Marjorie Taylor Greene? That's what I said. No, I'd rather we have World War III. Like, it's not real to people, the consequences of not stopping it.
I got to tell you, number one, well, my first question is, why do you think that the Nazi has more effect than anything else? Does it say a lot about the United States, what they pay attention to?
It's a kindergarten. Since how long have you lived? Since I was a kid. That's the easy, in a goddamn video game, in a movie. Like, we need somebody we can kill with impunity in our action movies. Okay? So before 9/11, and we had to like keep it cool with the Saudis and the Muslims, Arnold Schwarzenegger was fighting Muslim terrorists, right?
Yeah.
And then so what are we going to use in our movie? You can always tell like who it's okay to kill in movies. And now that we're working with Banderites, I just watched the movie CISO about the Finnish like Rambo guy fighting Nazis. Well, he's known for killing hundreds of Russians before that. It had this bizarre, because Finland's got kind of a complicated history with it too.
Yeah.
And so now it's like this weird quasi, like, well, we got to be cool with some. John Stewart's going to give a medal to some of them. And so now all of a sudden this real simple black and white thing where you're like, what? Good people on both sides.
Yeah.
Now suddenly, there's nuance.
Yeah.
And all the dummies that I grew up with, and myself included, just remember those are the Darth Vader people.
Yeah. You know what? The second part of the statement I was going to make, it didn't surprise me that Code Pink then went and reversed this. And here it is. And the reason is because we saw it at the Rage Against the War Machine, right? They didn't want to come over here because we were talking to libertarians. It's like one of the stupid activists said to me, he goes, Pasta, I don't want to join together and a common goal to stop something and working with people that after we're done want to turn around and hurt me. I'm like, that seems like a freaking CIA line over there that they would say that stuff. Therefore, you can never work with somebody to obtain a common goal like stopping a war, because these people at the end of the day, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, those libertarians, they want to hurt us.
Someone said, how does he think we went to the moon? How does he think, like, we worked with the Nazis? Yeah. What is he talking about? Even intelligence will work with these, like, people.
Well, that's a common thing they say out there. That line I told you, I don't want to come together with somebody for a common goal, to work with somebody for a common goal, that after we obtain that goal, they want to turn around and hurt me.
So
those are the exact
we all die
words.
in World War III. Who's your friend?
Dude,
dumb?
No, that's a lot of people from the Code Pink and those other groups that would say that. From the Answer Coalition would say that.
I know.
I'm not going to mention dude's name because
you know as well as I knew.
He knows
it's
who
good
it is.
I found this show, because a lot of these people really suck, and they're real, like, just, they might as well become Democrats with their stupid girls' lunch table politics.
Yeah.
They're like just dramatic for all the wrong reasons.
I've heard people before when I've talked about, like, well, you know, like, nuclear holocaust doesn't seem like such an awful thing when, you know, people are dying, migrating from Africa every day, going across the Med to try to get to Europe.
Is this some kind of like antinatalist thing, you know, like don't have kids?
These are the leftist groups that I know, that I work with, that I disagree with them all the time, because they would say to me,
it sounds real vegan of them.
Well, they would say the number one responsibility is to help the most oppressed out there, to speak out for the most oppressed. And I said, no, it's not. The number one goal is for us to come together and go fight against the ruling class, take care of them, and then get in a room and decide what's best for all of us. That is the most important thing.
Hey,
to understand we have a common goal.
Doesn't bring them all.
And a common enemy.
Yeah, bring them all.
This didn't surprise me, Kurt, when this came out. Take a look at this.
Why do you think I hated leftists for many, many years? A hatred.
They are the number one problem right now. I mean, I was so happy to see Code Pink, people from Code Pink, taking a picture with Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying we must come together. I'm like, good, you guys are coming around. You know, okay? Even I would say Marjorie Taylor Greene did not vote against Speaker McCarthy. Okay? So you could even say, why didn't you do that? But still, who cares? You put it aside. It's a common goal to end this friggin' bloody war. Take a look.
Yeah, the people you want to fight will ally themselves with actual World War II Nazis. Yeah. They're willing to make that kind of coalition. And you can't take a picture with Marjorie Taylor Greene, moron.
Code Pink. There has been some confusion about an image that was taken with Code Pink volunteers and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene opportunistically approached our volunteers in a parking lot on the Hill, and she requested they take a photograph together. What opportunity does she have? An opportunity to end a war?
Do you think that they make her look good to her? If these imaginary Cornel West evil white supremacists like her, do you think they're going to go, oh, cool, she's friends with Code Pink? What is she getting out of that besides, hey, we got to stop this war?
Yeah. Well, the other thing they're going to say is, well, she's really not anti-war. It was the same thing we were saying. They were trying to say, because I was saying at one point, right, these people were talking about, you're really possibly shouldn't be speaking at the Rage Against the War Machine because he's really not anti-war, because he justifies Putin invading Ukraine and he's not anti-war. And I said, I do. I said, because I believe the quickest way to peace is with a Russian victory. So therefore, I am hoping that Putin ends this war and the Russian Federation ends the war. Not because I'm pro-war, because I believe it's the quickest way to peace. Okay. Because as we know, the United States says they'll fight to the last Ukrainian. And I don't want that to happen.
First of all, the United States itself that wanted this war to start and did everything to make sure he would invade.
Exactly.
As expressly stated by many great think tanks and private intelligence agencies such as your Stratfors and Rand corporations and what have you.
Way before it happened.
Yeah, no, they thought it was justified. That's why they on purpose tried to make it existential so he'd have to do that.
Exactly.
So like I don't even want.
Well, you know who didn't want war, Kurt? The 14,000 citizens that were slayed in the Donbass from 2014 until 2022 until Russia got involved. They didn't want war either, but they were sitting there getting killed. Civilians, children living in basements. Let's get to the rest of this Code Pink BS. Our volunteers weren't sure how to respond and immediately reached out to us about what happened after the fact. The picture was not initiated by our organization. We didn't want to do it. Marjorie said we can do it. We will continue to organize against war and demand our resources be reinvested into human needs like housing, universal health care, and education. There's a difference between being anti-war and not wanting funding for the Ukraine war. To be anti-war, you must be an internationalist.
Okay, but we still need to end that war right now. Like, if the house is on fire, you know, everybody getting along. I'm not getting in a line behind libertarians to exit the burning building.
Yeah.
Well, I will. Like,
that's a great. You
like
should tweet that out, buddy.
We said it when what's her name was here. We're talking about Rumble. And you're like, oh,
Kim.
Yeah, when Kim was here, and you're like, well, people are saying later Rumble's gonna. Well, we got to get out now.
Yeah. I would unite with anybody to do right, with nobody to do wrong. Frederick Douglass. Be more like Frederick Douglass and less like Code Pink. Max Blumenthal. This kind of unity is what terrifies the U.S. war state. And he was talking about what was going on.
Yeah, I think this is the primordial fear even before Germany and Russia being in alignment.
Yeah.
I think this is the first primordial fear. All the rabble.
That's the biggest primordial fear.
All the rabble coming together against,
The Bacon Revolution, if you ever look into that, right? So Bacon's Rebellion, look into that, dude. That's another one. When we come together, this is why Fred Hampton was so...
Yeah, that's why you get kind of murder Fred Hampton.
At like how old was he? Was he 21 years old, I think? He was such a threat to the establishment. This is weak ass bullshit, and this is why the anti-war left is a joke. That's Comrade Misty. I'll be on her show after this show today, checking it out. Lori Spencer, she says, just take the win and shut up about it.
But
Lori Spencer,
they're infiltrated because anything left is completely infected. Yeah. By that academic, like CIA woke bullshit that they made on purpose to make sure this would happen. Just as sure as they created hippies in a lab, they did this.
Yeah, Medea Benjamin even said that the Southern Poverty Law Center says this about the Mises Caucus. I'm like, oh yeah. And you look at the Southern Poverty Law Center, it's infested by the CIA. They got actual spooks working there on the website talking about it.
Didn't those founders have to leave for making sure no black women could be promoted in their black advocacy group and also sexually harassing them?
So this is the last statement I have about this too as well, because this is kind of dumb. This is once again Rage Against the War Machine. And I said this too. I said, listen, I had a speaking spot, right? I would have stepped aside if a Jamu came over there. If he wanted to speak, I would have stepped aside. I would have stepped aside for anybody in their coalition to come and speak. So here's Brianna Joy Gray. I asked Marjorie Taylor Greene on Rising whether she supported cuts to the military budget. She said, no, I don't want to cut the military spending.
Brianna, who cares? I really like Brianna. Brianna, who gives a shit? It has to stop now. Who gives a shit what she believes? It's what do they do? Stop being a millennial.
Yeah. Thank you, Kurt. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not anti-war, is not an anti-war politician. This is right after it happened.
I don't care.
But why? I mean, and why is the point? Why do you have to say this stuff? Why do you have to lead with this shit?
Optics. They all think in goddamn optics. They don't think in actually getting a goddamn thing done. How does this look to the thing that when they how's your brand and how does it look? They're just programmed that way, all of them.
Kurt, why are you getting so excited? I love it.
Because this is so...
I love it. I love it.
This is so dumb.
I love it when Kurt
I like her better than...
I do like Bree because Bree, once again, this is there's the good Bree and the bad Bree. This is the bad Bree. She is singularly anti-Ukraine. There may be narrow opportunities to work together, but we should be clear about what she believes. And this is the term here. Narrow opportunities. And I put down, it might be a narrow opportunity, but it's a humongous issue.
So let's never work with her again.
Yeah.
Let's do it one time to not die in World War III.
To end the Ukraine war.
And then afterwards, let's go, hey, we hate you, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Now that we're going to live.
But get that first thing done, correct?
But let's not have a World War III because you interviewed her. I mean, is everyone... this is a dumb country, dude.
So here it says, it might be a narrow opportunity, but it's a humongous issue. And when parties with opposing views can come together to obtain a common goal, such as defunding a bloody war, such as the Ukraine war, it is a win-win situation. We should be highlighting this moment rather than distracting the public with possible future discrepancies.
And now you know why we got to build the wall before we take the bases down, also. I don't know why I have to jump in.
Well, we can do that both ways and stuff. But I'm going to have a show today. I'm going to have a segment today. We're going to talk about something that's going to lead to more
We're going to need
more
those.
migration.
Look,
we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it
I'm
later.
fine with it because I think they form the base of our Herbalife pyramid, and I'm going to need these people in my sales funnel.
Well,
so don't hurt me.
Amway.
Don't do nothing to me.
What about Amway?
The American way.
Amway.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Tampa, Boca Raton, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, San Diego, Bloomington, Illinois, Indianapolis, and Levittown, New York. Wow, that's a lot of dates. See you there.